Hi, and welcome to another episode of It's Just Racing, hosted by Jim and Jim. I'm Jim,
And I'm Jim.
and we're here to talk about racing. It's just kind of weird this week. I always start with Supercross, and here we are, episode 18?
That sounds right.
And no Supercross for the next lifetime, it seems like. So, I do have an update from the Cup race from Kansas. Chris Buescher's number 17 car was taken back to the NASCAR Research and Development Center for teardown, and it was deemed illegal per section 14.1.c and 14.5.4.g, which earned them an L1 penalty. Buescher has been penalized 60 points, dropping him from 12th place 33 points above the cutoff line, down to 24th place, 27 points below the cutoff line. Now, I know that doesn't matter because if he wins a race, he's in no matter what, but they also penalized him 5 playoff points shall he overcome this penalty to make the playoffs. The team was fined $75,000, and his crew chief has been suspended for 2 races. This must have been a pretty big deal they found, eh?
Yeah, it must have been cheating pretty bad.
Wow, what was this egregious violation? They used more than 2 inches of foam inside the front bumper cover. Yes, they've ruined his season because whoever put the car together used more than 2 inches of foam behind the front bumper cover. Isn't that horrible?
Well, I think it's a great penalty. We got to stop all these rule breakers. The cars, they're making them too safe. You can't use that much foam. It's ruining the whole spectacle.
It is insane how much foam he used behind that front bumper cover. I am so glad that they caught that and the punishment was so severe. I really hope they do that in all forms of racing. Stupid. RFK, Roush, Fenway, Keselowski Racing, is appealing the penalty. Now, I said last week that we were thinking about going to Slinger. We did not go to Slinger Superspeedway. My old body can't handle it when it's under 60 degrees, and it was in the low 50s, and all the titanium gets cold, and it just screws me all up. But I did want to say congratulations to Steve Apel. He broke the track record that I saw set there in 1994 by Tony Strupp. So now the new super late model track record at Slinger is Steve Apel's. Good job.
That's impressive. A record that stood for 31 years.
And when you think of all the technology and how much more money people are spending now, and nobody broke that record for 30 some years. Anyhow, way to go, Steve. Craftsman Trucks at North Wilkesboro. Qualifying was rained out, so Corey Heim got the pole. I don't know how they pick who goes on the pole. I should really look at that before I start babbling on these Tuesday nights. But I found it funny that the front row was Corey Heim and Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch was really not a factor in the race, so it didn't matter. But yeah, I'm on the pole, and of course he led every lap until the first caution. Just a single car incident. All but 6 trucks pitted. Gio Ruggiero had the lead at the restart and won stage 1. Obviously, he was one of the ones that did not pit. Grant Enfinger grabbed the lead to start stage 2 after Lane Driggs overdrove turn 1 and almost put Heim into the wall. There was a single truck caution for a flat tire with 3 to go, and Enfinger won the stage under caution. Corey Heim got the lead again to start the 3rd stage and led until another single truck incident with 35 laps to go. To pit or not to pit? That's the question. What's the answer?
You got to pit.
The majority pitted. Corey Heim did not and restarted in the lead. Chandler Smith pounded Heim in the ass. He gently nudged him out of the lead. But at that same time, Ben Rhodes dumped Brent Cruz, wrecked him out of 6th place, and brought out the caution. So Heim did still have the lead at the time of caution when they went to one of their 700 different camera angles and timing this and that and blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, Heim still had the lead. So we go to a green-white checkered. Corey Heim leads. Lane Riggs apparently wasn't happy just hitting him once earlier. He doored him. Heim spun and then got wrecked, but it was after the white. Lane Riggs didn't even win the race after doing that. Chandler Smith snuck by and got the win.
No, isn't that the first rule of taking someone out is don't lose the race yourself?
Right. If you're gonna dump somebody to win it, you better win it, because otherwise that just is two stupid moves by Lane Riggs in the same race. I kind of like Lane.
Yeah, I mean, he's got talent, but got to be patient.
That just didn't seem
it the right way.
Corey Heim, man, he's really got it going this year. He could have legitimately, I think, won every single race this season.
Well, I mean, he should have won the last 2 truck championships, and so, I mean, I guess he's still got something to prove, and he's doing it.
It's nuts. Just one note, it's a great Truck Series debut by Brent Cruz. 17-year-old kid. I had forgotten. Jim reminded me that we had seen him racing up at Road America a few years back. This kid can wheel. He was the youngest POWRi National Midget winner at 13 years old, the youngest Trans Am Series winner at 14, the youngest Trans Am Series champ at 15. Then he was the Cars Tour Rookie of the Year last year, and he was in the top 10 all race until he got dumped by Ben Rhodes this past weekend. So he seems to be able to do it all in all kinds of racing, and that is definitely looking to be the way to go if you are a young racer or you're grooming a young racer for racing. Put them in everything, anywhere, doing everything. That's it for NASCAR.
Moving over to Emilia Romagna, Italy, we had the Imola Grand Prix from the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari, which is one of my favorite tracks.
You just like to speak Italian.
We'll go there someday. That was not this year. It's Ferrari's home race, right by Maranello. They wanted to have a good showing. Unfortunately, that did not happen in qualifying. But first, Yuki Tsunoda had a big crash in Q1. He went off and hit the wall, flipped, ended up in the gravel. So he had to start from the pit lane because of all the repairs they had to do to his car. Another Q1 incident, Franco Colapinto, his first qualifying session replacing Jack Doohan, and he binned it at the end of Q1, which he didn't even need to be out there because he was already through to Q2 and nobody behind him was even on the track. So I'm not sure why they had him out there, but either way, he crashed and so was not able to move into Q2. One notable thing, Ollie Behrman, man, he got really unlucky.
He got screwed.
He had put in a lap right before Colapinto crashed, and it was good enough for 10th place. And they took the lap away, saying that the red flag came out, and which put him last. And they went back and looked a couple times.
A couple times. It was 25 minutes they were reviewing it.
Well, either way, you could visually see as Ollie crossed the line, the red lights were not out. I think, did they just say he was a flagman had a red flag?
Yeah. So he crossed the line, and then the red lights came on, or the red panel, as they call it. So he knew that he crossed the line. Everybody knew that he crossed the line. Yeah, the scoring monitor moved him up to 10th, and 25 minutes later, they said, well, the flag man in the corner was waving the red flag, so your lap didn't count. So, a quarter of a second later, you would have been fine. he got screwed. I feel bad for Ollie and the whole Haas team.
I mean, especially he could have had a really good chance at points with how he was doing with that Q1 lap at least.
Yep.
And points are very important for those midfield teams. After all that silliness ended, there's even more because both Ferraris were out in Q2 along with Kimi Antonelli. So just about every Italian was probably very sad. The Italian driver, the two Italian cars, out in Q2. They finished like 11th, 12th, and 13th, so not very impressive. And the reason for that being was Aston Martin. They went out there on medium tires because Pirelli had brought softer tires to the track this year.
That was a great move.
It was. I'm glad they brought those tires.
Hopefully they do this weekend for Monaco.
The reason for the tire compound change was to increase action, make it a two-stop race. Because last year, this race, it was very difficult to pass. So they wanted to bring tires that would grain a little bit more. And it did work out. And so a good call by Pirelli on that one. But so the Aston Martins, they went on the medium tires for qualifying. And they both got into Q3, which was quite a shock.
Not the first time this year? For sure for Stroll, right?
I think it is the first time. Yeah. So good strategy call from them. Well done to get both cars into Q3. In the end, it was Oscar Piastri on pole position and Max Verstappen beside him on the front row. On Sunday, the race start, Max got a kind of a bad get up off the line. It looked like he was going to drop down to third, and then he reminded us that he's Max Verstappen.
He's the best driver in Formula One, like him or not.
Yep, laid on the brakes around the outside. And he just sent it and passed Oscar and never looked back. It was a brilliant move.
It was perfectly clean, so nobody could cry.
Yeah, stayed on the track. Didn't touch Piastri at all. It was just a really good move. The move of a champion. So I was impressed with that. A little bit after that, the Ferrari starting to move up a little. Charles, he passed Pierre Gasly for 9th place. Which sent the Alpine off into the gravel. Pierre was able to save it. It was a little iffy. It was one of those where, like, Charles had left him enough room. He was just trying to fight it and took a little too much speed. I thought we were going to have an incident, but luckily he was able to gather the car up. Lando Norris was able to pass George Russell for 3rd place, and he set off after his teammate. Lando was looking quick. Then after that, we saw some tire strategy. McLaren pulled Oscar in earlier. They wanted to try to get the undercut on Max because the Ferraris had taken the undercut, and it looked like it was going to be working out for them. Unfortunately for Oscar, that didn't look like the strategy. While on paper, a two-stop would be faster. Getting through traffic is always difficult, and so he was passing people pretty easily. But still, you're losing time in the lap you have to spend behind him, and then the dirty air makes you overheat your tires. It's tricky. He did a good job getting through the traffic, though. And it was around then that everyone who had stayed out, they realized that the tires, it looked like they still had some life after the initial graining phase. And so a lot of the remaining drivers out there decided to make it a one-stop. And that looked like it was going to be the best strategy. And it looked like Oscar was going to kind of be left out in the middle of the field, making an extra stop, which it had looked like the dominant strategy at the time, but sometimes it doesn't pan out. So it was very exciting to watch to see what he was going to do, all made possible by those softer tires that Pirelli brought. But then there was a virtual safety car. And that shook up everything. Esteban Ocon, his Haas, it stopped working. I don't know what it was.
It's like a toaster. It just stopped working.
Well, I mean, it didn't look like an engine. It just shut off. So maybe something electrical or who knows. But either way, he stopped on the side of the track. Had to have a virtual safety car where everybody pitted. And it turned the race upside down. I had a list of everyone who benefited and everyone who dropped back, and it was just about the whole field. Notably, it was very beneficial for Alex Albon, Isaac Hadjar, Kimi Antonelli, Lewis Hamilton, and of course Max Verstappen. And the VSC, it hurt Lando, Charles Leclerc, he had been on pace with his early undercut to finish probably fourth, but this put him back out of the points. It hurt Oscar, obviously, as he had pitted already, and George Russell. And the Mercedes was struggling for pace this week, which was surprising to me after their strong start to the season. Once we got racing again, there was another safety car. This time it was Kimi Antonelli. His Mercedes broke.
Like a toaster, it just stopped working.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell, what exactly broke with how complicated these cars are. If it's not something like an engine where you can see the fire, who knows. So with that, Max actually he had pulled out in front enough that he had a free pit stop over Oscar Piastri.
Yeah, this one, because this was an actual safety car, right?
Yes, it was.
So he had like a 20-second lead.
It was a big lead.
And it got erased because of this one. So everybody was like, oh, Max is always so lucky. He got a free pit stop under the virtual safety car, blah, blah, blah. Well, he lost his 20-second lead because of the second safety car. So blah, blah, blah to all of you.
But just about everybody pitted again, except for Oscar, because he had to cover off Lando and the guys behind him. So he was out there on older tires. You could hear Lando was talking to the team under the safety car, trying to convince them to tell Oscar to let him pass. A little gamesmanship from Lando. Obviously, they're never going to tell the championship leader to pull over and let the other guy pass. But Lando was able to pass Oscar on his own with those new tires. But he had nothing for Max. Max was just too fast. And Red Bull really had a lot of pace this week.
They did. They brought some upgrades and they worked.
Another team that had pace was Williams. Alex Albon, towards the end of the race, with like 3 or 4 laps to go, he was trying to pass Charles Leclerc for 4th place, and he would have had it on pace. Charles pushed him wide. It was I don't know about the move.
Yeah, I think he did not leave the space.
Yeah, I believe as it happened, I quoted Fernando Alonso and said, all the time you have to leave the space. But yeah, so he pushed Albon onto the gravel. Lewis Hamilton went through and passed both of them, and he took over 4th place. And then the Ferrari team did tell Charles to give Albon the position, which is what I think they should have done. Charles was unhappy about it. He thought it was clean racing. I'm sure after seeing it, he realizes that it was a little over the edge from him. So in the end, Max won it by like 6 or 7 seconds, with McLaren's in pursuit. So perhaps we'll have a championship battle on our hands. Who knows? It's still too early to tell.
At least it'll be close, as long as the Red Bull can continue to perform.
Lando finished 2nd, and Oscar rounded out the podium. One notable points finisher, Yuki Tsunoda, starting from the pit lane, was able to get his way all the way up into 10th for 1 point. And what that does for the point standings is Oscar still leads by 13 points over his teammate Lando Norris, and by 22 over Max. And in the constructors, McLaren's up by 132 points over Mercedes. So
yeah, we don't even need to talk about the constructors championship.
We can call that one though.
Yeah, McLaren won. Okay, don't even have to talk about it. All right, Indy 500 qualifying. I love watching qualifying. I don't know. I guess I'm weird. I had it on for hours. It's just fun for me. There were multiple hard crashes in practice. Cars upside down. Marcus Armstrong and Colton Herta both had to go to a backup chassis and just completely rebuild the cars, which is a bigger deal for Armstrong and the Meyer-Shank team, because they didn't have a backup oval car. They had to take their road race car they had in their trailer and convert it into an oval car. Both did recover, and they did qualify in. Jacob Abel, he was not able. He was very slow. Yeah, that it was. It's a good thing he didn't make the race because he would have been a hazard. He was what 5, 6 miles an hour, 7 miles an hour off the leaders.
Yeah, he would have been a moving chicane out there.
That's for sure. Um, Scott McLaughlin, one of the Penske cars, crashed hard in the practice right before the top 12 qualifying runs and was not able to put in a time. His Penske teammates weren't so lucky. Get that? They weren't lucky?
He crashed, but he was the lucky one.
Right. So he'll still start 12th. Will Power, I know everybody wants to talk about this. All you keyboard warriors been going crazy for days now, nonstop. Will Power and Joseph Newgarden were not allowed to participate after it was discovered that their teams had improperly filled in between two seams of carbon fiber on the rear attenuator of the car. When it was discovered, they attempted to grind away the 1/8 inch of putty or whatever it was that just filled the seam in. But that's not an approved adjustment in pit lane, and they were disqualified from qualifying. So they were relegated to 10th and 11th starting position. But wait, there's more. Everybody threw a fit. The internet exploded. The pits exploded. All the bloggers exploded. Are there even bloggers anymore? All the influencers and YouTubers and everybody threw their little baby fits and screamed and cried about how Penske's all cheaters and Penske owns the series and owns the track and owns the cheater cars and blah, 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 blah.
I only heard what Pato O'Ward had to say about it. But
Drivers were crying. Everybody's crying, screaming, crying like a bunch of little babies. Okay, you people who are screaming and crying, most of you have never strapped into a race car. And if you think that Joseph Newgarden knows that somebody put a little bit of putty to have a smoother transition between two pieces of carbon fiber, you have no idea what you're talking about. Anyhow, they decided to not follow the IndyCar rulebook, which would have had them starting in 11th and 12th. They decided that, hey, we will make them start dead last. So they will be 32nd and 33rd. They had their qualifying points stripped because for the Indy 500, you get points for qualifying. They were each fined $100,000. And the strategists for each car were suspended from the race. Do you have anything to say?
I mean, I haven't kept up with all of the goings on. I mean, it seems that if they broke a rule by the adjustment to the car, then you should follow the rule book and disqualify them according to what that says. I don't know about the fines for the drivers. Again, I agree with what you say that I don't think Joseph and Will were down there, working on the cars after the team had gone to bed. And I mean, who knows what the adjustments, what that putty did. It probably gave him a little bit of an aero advantage, which is important at the Indy 500. It's hard to say. Yeah, I don't know.
I do know. It's ridiculous. The amount of keyboard warriors screaming and yelling that Penske should be forced to sell the series. The only reason IndyCar exists is because of Roger Penske. He saved IndyCar. You people are just nuts. Just stop your crying. Newgarden's going to win anyway. I don't care where he starts. The guy's going to win. So just shut up. They've already been penalized 3 times worse than they should have. They should have been starting 11th and 12th. They're starting 32nd and 33rd. They lost their points. It just shut up, and the race is going to go on Sunday. Just stop. It's all I'm hearing everywhere. Every sports radio. You can't even get on Facebook without people who are, I want to start a petition to force Roger Penske to sell IndyCar. Yeah, 84-year-old Roger Penske's down there laying on the ground when nobody's looking. He's putting this little bit of putty on the car. Yeah, because he's a big cheater. You guys have no idea what you're talking about. It just really pisses me off how people are going on and on and on. You give me a rule book to your series if you actually race, and you give me 1 hour, and I will show you that you're cheating. Everybody who says they're not cheating, and these guys should be thrown out. There's people saying that, oh, Newgarden, his car was illegal last year too, and there's pictures of it because, well, you know what? Nobody ever caught it. Was it even a rule last year? You don't know. Show me in the rule book that it was a rule last year. His car's been sitting there for a full year in the Indy Hall of Fame there at the track. You know what? So people are saying, oh, they should give Jacob Abel the spot and make Newgarden sit because he cheated last year and he's a cheater this year, and so Abel should get the spot. Yeah, Abel would wreck 45 cars even though only 33 are starting because he was so damn slow.
I think I'll cut you off there, and I think I'll summarize this discussion by saying we'd just like to see racing.
Indy 500 is the best race of the year of any type. And I just hate this, that people are so stupid and they get so wound up over a little thing and they think it's the driver and they think it's Roger Penske. Well, if it was Roger Penske, then all 3 cars would have had it done. Only 2 did because they checked McLaughlin's car, the crashed one, and it did not have the putty. So it was the individual teams that decided to do it. Whatever. So, Robert Schwartzman. You may have heard of him. Didn't he was like a test driver or something in Formula One?
Yeah, he's been a Ferrari development driver before he came to Indy.
And he just never got a ride. So, he decided, hey, I'm going to go to IndyCar. Brand new team. Rookie driver, pole position. Kid, he's like 25 now, right?
Something like that.
He's never driven an oval until he showed up at Indy last week. It's a great story. First year driver, first year team. He's the first rookie in 43 years to win the pole. Interesting fact. Do you know who won the pole? Who the last rookie to win the pole was?
No, I wasn't around to see that.
I was. Teo Fabi.
I don't know who that is.
The reason that's interesting is because the same year that Teo Fabi, the Italian Teo Fabi, won pole at Indy as a rookie, was the same year that Prema started racing, the Italian race team. Aha, fun fact for you there. So that's it. We've got a rookie on the pole, and Joseph Newgarden's going to win.
Well, I had a whole segment ready for.
Oh, here you go. Okay.
Picking our who we think is going to win. I guess you've already made your opinion known. You think it's going to be You think it's going to be a Penske sweep? I see.
I don't know about that. I just think that Joseph Newgarden will win the race. Period. He's my pick.
I've got just a few drivers I want to talk about. I think Pato Award. First of all, I'm a big Pato fan. He's finished second a couple times. I don't think he's going to win. Well, no.
Do you think he's going to finish second again?
I think he's going to wreck out.
Oh.
Because I think he'll be in second. And after last year, he said he doesn't ever want to finish second again. He's tried, being aggressive. He's tried waiting back. I think he's going to get impatient. I think he's going to make a big move and it's not going to work. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just what my gut tells me.
So he's employing the wreckers or checkers philosophy?
I think he might be. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope Pato gets the win, but I don't know. One of my picks to win, I know I had said earlier I was going to have a real pick and a silly one, but I don't remember who the real pick was going to be because I'm all in. I think Stingray Robb is going to win the Indy 500.
Hole number 77.
The reason I think that, last year he would have been a top 5 car easily if there hadn't been that late caution on the pit strategy he was using. He would have saved a pit stop. Would have been one of 5 cars to do that. And he was leading laps, running out front, looking really good, driving strong. I think that Stingray Rob is going to win the Indy 500.
Well, I have an emotional pick also. Not as if I'm not emotional enough about Joseph Newgarden. That didn't sound right, but if Joseph Newgarden doesn't win, I want Elio to win. Elio Castroneves to win his 5th Indy 500. That would be pretty slick. Guys in his 40s. Speaking of guys in their 40s, who qualified second?
Well, just a correction. I believe Elio's 50.
Okay, Elio's my age. He's in his 50s.
Oh, yeah, thanks for reminding me. That was going to be Takuma Sato was going to be my pick, who I actually think is going to win. 48
years old. Qualified second.
He has started on the front row twice before, and both times he's won.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, so we're rooting for Joseph Newgarden, Takuma Sato, Elio Castroneves,
and Stingray
Rob. Okay, that's first, second, third, and fourth.
All right.
Cool. Next week, I don't know if I'm going to watch racing on Friday or Saturday.
I won't be here on Saturday.
We've got the trucks Friday, Xfinity Saturday. I am sure I'll have to do lots of things because I'm not leaving the television Sunday. We've got Formula One at Monaco, goes right into the Indy 500, which goes right into the Coke 600. If there's anything else, it'll just be bonus content because it's a big Sunday for me, so I don't know if I really care about the other stuff enough to spend my time watching it. We do have lives, I know he's not going to be around Saturday. He's going to college graduation that he is supposed to be in, but he graduated a year early. And he's
I'm always racing.
He's going to see all his friends graduate, as he's already fully and well employed for quite a while now. Anyhow,
so you could say I lapped the field.
You lapped the field, yes. That's all. You got anything?
No, that's all.
All right. Keyboard warriors, just calm down. Watch the race. Have a good week.